Hey everyone, welcome back to Beekeeping Like a Girl, or welcome to if you are new. I'm Natalie. Today we are doing round 2 of checking our hives. So we're going to do that in a second. Before we do that, I wanted to mention that I'm using my new veil and new smoker today from Dadent. We got both of these at the Hive Conference, or the Hive Life Conference. To be honest, I don't know how to tie this at all. It's just tucked into the back of my pocket, the string. Gonna have to go back and watch Cayman's video on how to tie it. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. This is Midnight Hive. We don't name all of ours, but we did name this one because this is my hive. And I take care of it. So we're gonna see what they look like today. It's pretty nice out today. We had a pretty good winter. We lost less than 10% this year, which is really great, and we're really excited about that. So today we're just kind of seeing where they are and what they look like a little bit. Our maple, yesterday it really wasn't in quite yet, our pollen, but today it kind of seems like it is. And they're bringing in a good amount. I mean, it's not a crazy flow, but it is there, so that's always exciting. I did go ahead and take out the feeder ahead of time just because for some reason I always have trouble with the feeder and I don't know why. But anyways, so our top boxes that have double deeps, most of them are really filled with just honey right now. So I am expecting this to just be honey for the most part. And we kind of want them to soon, not right away, we want them to kind of eat it up and get it gone. Because then we can get some brood going and all that kind of stuff up top. And when that happens, what we like to do is, get them working the top box after they get all the honey out and all that kind of stuff. And then we flip the boxes because we take the top one, move down to the bottom up to the top. But we don't want to do that right now just because it's kind of warm and it's probably about warm enough, but when we do that, what happens is there's so much space for them to fill and it kind of creates a bunch of cold air and it's kind of a complicated kind of deal, but we're not really worried about that right now. I might make a video more on that in the future, but we're not really worried about that. So we're kind of just seeing where they're sitting right now, and right here it looks like we have some funky comb. So this side doesn't look too bad, it's alright. I mean, you can see there's some weird spots. But on the other side, it's kind of a mess. So I'm not going to take it off right now just because there is honey in it. And once they get that out, we will probably fix it. I might have talked about this before, I'm not sure. But when they do this, it can sometimes be a couple different reasons, but mainly what we figured out, and a lot of people do now, is they take wax and they melt it. Well, what we used to do is we melt the wax, get all the dirt and stuff out, and then we take that hardened wax after we've melted it and we kind of like smear it onto just the foundation when there's nothing on the frame yet, any comb or anything. And we just smear it on there and it kind of gives them something for them to know that they can put their honeycomb on, just stuff like that, and they build it a lot better. But it was working okay, and then we realized you can use a paint roller, like a smaller paint roller. You can just roll on the wax, so dip it in the melted wax, and then you can roll it on there. We should definitely make a video about that soon. But back to the pollen stuff. They, like I said, looks like they're bringing in a little bit. I'm going to try and find one with maybe some pollen. When they do end up bringing in some pollen, we might do some pollen patties. We might not. We're going to kind of focus on the ones that need it most. Same thing with sugar syrup. We have been doing a little bit of open feeding just to stimulate them for the upcoming season a little bit. But we're kind of just doing a little bit of open feeding, just a little bit of that here and there. But yeah, it's kind of seeing what's happening so far and all of that kind of stuff, but we're going to be mostly targeting the ones that need it. Not that we don't have enough or anything, but just we're not really that worried right now about all that. This is probably maybe our second time really getting in the bees this year. So, okay, here's a little bit more calm. It's not too bad. They can still build that, but this does look like a little bit of like an old foundation frame a little bit. But we might be doing some switching with boxes and maybe frames or so this year, just with most of our hives, because some of these boxes are kind of falling apart. Right here on the side here, it's kind of a mess. It's breaking and all that, which the bees really don't care. I mean, bees are very clean, but when it comes to that, they don't really care because they're a strong hive. It doesn't really matter. Like, they went through winter with that, but we kind of like to have our boxes nice, and so we might do that this year. Not sure. We're not really. We have a little bit of a plan this year, but we're kind of just going with the flow and seeing what happens and stuff like that. This frame is pretty heavy. I would say we could check the bottom box. I don't expect her to be here up the top, but I can't really lift that. I can lift these frames, and yet they're really heavy, so probably not going to look at the bottom box today, but let's see. I'm not seeing any with pollen, but it does look like there's fresh pollen in here. Okay. Let's see. I don't really see anything in here. Let's go ahead and move on to this hive right next to me. I'm going to go ahead and close these grows up and see what that hive looks like, just because it's not looking like too much interesting stuff or anything like that. The propolis is crazy right now, but again, we're probably going to be doing a little bit of feeding here soon. So, just going to leave that empty with no feeder for now. We're going to clean out some of our feeders, and then we'll probably start putting them back in and doing some of that. We're not really worried about bulking up right now with, feeding them like 2 to 1. We're not doing that because we're not worried about bulking them up. That part is hopefully over. Our big winter should be over, but let's go ahead and move down to this one. So this is a late nuke that we did last year, and I've had a video on them before, but I'm doing it again just because I thought they would be a good pick for today, because I really like them. They're just calm and a nice hive. I'm just going to skip a couple frames because I expect those to just be honey for the most part. Let's see if we can find anything. So I do already see pollen on a bee. Let's see if I can find some more. There's just a little bit of capped brood, not much. Yeah, these girls have brought in quite a bit of pollen. So let me show you that in a second. Okay, so on this side, propolis is very sticky today. So there's one with some, kind of looks like some yellowish pollen. There's more over here, and down there. So we have some big news that I'm going to go ahead and mention now. You can see the strap keeps falling because I don't know how to tie this. But anyways, so this Saturday, come to my channel and we are going to be doing a live chat with Cayman Reynolds. Just kind of talking a little bit about bees and all that kind of stuff, and I'm going to save most of that information for the live, so stay tuned. Hopefully you guys can get on to that. It'll be at 7. So anyways, yeah, hopefully you guys can get on. Let's see. These girls look pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and just check one more frame, and then we can close them up. There's a lot of pollen down in those cells. It's kind of hard to see. I mean, up here you can see it a little bit. It's pretty bright. I mean, I don't know if it looks different on the camera or anything, but let's go ahead and close them up. So for pollen patties, if we do end up doing it, I forgot to mention, I feel like we should make a video on that if we maybe do something with adding some pollen patties, just not right now. There's not a whole lot for us to be worried about right now, but we did get a special mixture from the Hive Life conference, so we are going to do something with that and stuff like that. But anyways, we'll probably make a video on that just for more information on all of that. But anyways, I think that's it for today's video. So follow along for more bee adventures and be here next time on Beekeeping Like a Girl.